Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight. Woo! Laughs and wisdom side by side. Heshy show won't be denied. Tune in live and ride the tide. Feel the rush and feel the pride. It's just enough Heshy. Wanna vote for Heshy? It's just enough Heshy. Join the crowd, it's messy.
And hello, everybody, here on tonight's Just Enough Heshy show. Heshy, you missed the signal, and we're here.
I lost the election, so you're torturing me. I don't understand you.
Waterboarding. Instead of waterboarding, it's intro boarding.
You're like the rest of them, you know what I mean? You're taking them, you know, people are telling me I look tired. I'm not tired, you know what I mean? I did put in 18 hours a day today. My son got up at 11 o'clock, not me. What time did you get up?
4:55.
I was up at 3.
All right, well.
Yeah. I want to tell you about that Bubba call, whatever.
Oh.
And welcome to our show, everybody. Our Instagram fans, our YouTube fans, our Facebook fans, and soon our live radio fans.
Yes, we're going to be on the radio shortly.
You're going to have to move over for that screen. Anyways, okay, I'm fat, right?
Yeah, well,
you
I can't move any
insult
further.
me completely. I want you to know it was an interesting week after the election.
Yes.
A lot of people calling me. I want to tell people about the new offer. You know, I promised to retire. I had Judge call me, don't retire. A lot of my clients are calling me, says, oh, we never wanted you in politics. My partner is so happy that I lost because I'm in the business. I promise you I made more sales this week for me and my son than I did for the last, because I stopped not working. I did full-time work, but I did a lot more constituent services, pro bono work, and I didn't want to take on a lot of big clients that I didn't think I can handle, and a lot of those people held out. You know what I mean? And saying, oh, Heshy, we went to other people, they didn't help us out. So a lot of people did come back to me, and I'm just, and it's time for me to make some money now because,
you got to make money, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't that I didn't have. I have enough to make it. Also, I want to go on vacation.
You should. Yeah, we talked about that last couple
right,
weeks.
Right,
yeah.
So, of course, I'm not going to go before Thanksgiving. Our contract with the station still runs through Thanksgiving. And for the radio, but our YouTube will never go off. Me and Tom, that's how you get to, people recognize you, Tom.
I know. I get stopped in the street a couple times here.
Yeah,
It's been great.
But we've got a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. News happened just before we went on the air with the government shutdown. Congress passed the bill.
Well, Congress passed the bill already yesterday, to what I understood. Senate, I think, had to.
The Senate was first. Congress
was first. So the Congress was
Congress was just now.
And I want to tell you what the Democrat Congress, it had to pass. There was no way. I mean, but you know what the funny part is, and I'm going to say it again on the show when we go live.
Yes.
The government shut down. I didn't miss the government at all.
I was the same way.
Okay.
I think to me, if they want to stay on a permanent vacation,
the only problem that I had was that while other people didn't get paid, the senators and the congressmen get paid no matter what. Yep. On nerve.
I've said it before.
The government is shut down. How'd you get paid?
They shouldn't get paid.
They should
give their salary to all those that are impacted by it.
Right.
Yep.
That's why they were crying and bitching, because everybody was screaming, hey, you're getting paid and we're not getting paid.
Wow.
During COVID, I paid my workers.
I know.
A lot of people didn't pay their workers. You and I struggled. You went out and
I had to deliver newspapers, and everybody was like,
Forget
nope.
newspapers. You were doing a lot of other stuff during COVID. You didn't stop. No, neither did I.
I was.
A lot of people, and the people.
I worked from home. I worked outside. I mean, I actually was one of the people that was probably more busy during COVID than
yeah, me too.
Otherwise,
I was very busy during
You're
COVID.
in a different category. And I did want to say hello before we go on the radio to Bob Trackman is here. Bob wants to say good evening.
I love Bob.
Bob
Trackman.
is here with us.
Bob was the guy who donated.
Yes, the food.
Bob, you are. I just want you to know, you did. You don't even know how good you did to help people. I mean, you helped a lot of people, and God bless you.
Yes, Bob's a great
and anybody
guy.
who donates food to my organization or to my soup kitchen. I mean, even if it's once, I have an older guy that needed toilet paper, and just giving it to him once is good enough. You know what I mean? How they appreciate it.
And we do want to now say hello to everybody joining us on WJPR 1640 AM in beautiful Miami, Florida, where Heshy could be going next. Also our flagship WSNR 620 AM and also WNEW, the legendary rock and roll radio station. Thank you for joining us here. Also on the Talkline Radio Network for this week's Just Enough Heshy show with Heshy and Tom. So thank you.
You do it so good. I just want you to know, I swore I would never leave New York, and I'm not leaving. But I did put my properties up for sale. I do need some money. You
gotta live, man.
I don't trust Mandani with the riching and the taxing. I'm gonna stand on the sidelines. I don't want to take advantage. I never have of people struggling, but I know a lot of people are gonna get in trouble during Mandani. I hope he doesn't mess up. Okay, but I'm gonna stand on the sidelines.
I was speaking with a real estate broker I know on Staten Island. He told me that on election day he got 2 listings already because of the election.
Right.
So
right.
what does that tell you?
I had I was having a building I was having a struggle to sell. I promise you, ask my son, 4 buyers have hit, and each one has dropped off non-refundable checks to my lawyer, and I haven't even signed the contract. Non-refundable. That means if I accept the deal and they mess up in any way, I get to keep the money, not $12. I'm talking a lot of money. So I see that people are, scared.
People are very scared.
Very scared.
Very scared.
Anyways, I am going on vacation. I'm going to go on vacation after Thanksgiving. Me and Linda are going to go. We're not sure if we're going to go after Thanksgiving or we're going to go. I want to go for her birthday.
Okay.
And yes, where do you think I'm going?
Florida.
Yes.
Miami. I said it last week on the show, and I just mentioned before
My
our
brother
flagship.
called me up when he heard. He says, "Hey, she come to my house in Boynton Beach."
Okay.
He has a house with a pool, Heshy, and nobody will watch you. I said, but you have cameras all over. So if I go naked swimming, you're going to be video camera me. He says, put a tape on the camera. I said, who knows where you have those cameras? Did you like my video today? The new song?
I did.
It was a cute new song.
Watched it. A lot of people
So I'm
have been
learning
reacting.
more on the social media. But we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Zone. We're going to talk about the government opening
Absolutely.
up that I don't care, how they screwed us again.
And if you want to give us a call tonight, by the way, 646-974-1580. And also, Black Beauty wants to say Linda's birthday is also Heshy's birthday.
It's the same weekend. She's January 27th. I'm January 29th.
Yeah.
Correct.
And Rachel Bartlett wanted to say good evening to all beautiful people out there.
Hello, Rachel. How are you
Rachel.
doing?
Yes.
We're going to give some shout outs first.
Yes.
We're going to shout out to my friend Sergeant Peter, who always every week is so good to me.
Yes.
Ellie, how are you? And beautiful, my granddaughter Mira Nava.
Favorite part of the show.
She just learned how to ice skate.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
You were talking about this in previous
This
shows.
6-year-old is a pro. I'm in shock. This girl could do it. She's a real Tischler. She tells me she's going to take over everything.
She'll take over when you're ready to retire in 30 years.
30 years, I love you. No, I'm going now.
Well, for the show, you're not going to stop anytime
The
soon.
show, you are
That's
me.
what I'm talking about.
These are my people out here in New York. And I do not look tired, whoever you made that comment. Mira Nava, Layla Tamal, my granddaughter, Binyamin Hillel, Ahuva Yeshua, who has turned 3 years
Wow,
old.
time flies.
Yeah. Me
Time
and him
flies.
hung out on Friday, and we went shopping together for his mother. And my beautiful new granddaughter, she's already 6 months old, Yael.
And I want to give a big shout out to our
When's
producer.
going to be Thanksgiving, by the way?
I'm going to be, that's a good question. I don't know yet. Probably going to be either at home or potentially my mother said we might go out. So
If you want, you can bring your mom and come with me.
she's in New Jersey, though.
Okay, that's where we're going. We're going to Jersey.
Well, I mean, we may be going out.
You can come with me in my car, and I'll drop you either off by your mother. You bring your mother. It's kosher turkey, so it's not as good as your stuff.
No. Listen,
It does have
I love.
stuff
By
in
the way, I love kosher food. You know that.
Kosher turkey.
All right. Well,
You have to be
stay
careful
tuned.
of that.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to make a blessing. We'll teach you how to do it. I want to give you my quote.
Please do.
I just want you to know I am not upset about losing the election, and we're going to talk about that.
All
but success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. I wrote this quote for myself. Do I have the courage to continue after these losses? Do I want to? It's not that I'm sad that I lost. Don't think that I don't have the energy to continue. I was offered a day after I told you, I spoke to Tom about it, a day after they asked me to run for the state Senate seat against Sutton. And then when the Bubbov community found out, I don't want to say his name again, and Sutton, they both called me. They said, we will crush you. We will go after you. We heard about that you might want to run for state senator against me. We're going to get you the Syrian community. And today, I had a Syrian guy come in, a Bubbov guy come in. I told my partner I don't want to help them. Oh, we voted for you. I said, stop it. I said, I only got 7,000 votes while my competitor got over 20,000. So what are you telling me you voted for me? I was one of the guys. I said, really, I don't know why you need me. Why don't you go to Senator Sutton said I shouldn't help any Syrians. He says, he will take care of it. I said, okay, man. Okay. But you know me.
Yeah. And we know Sutton, and that's the problem.
I have a great quote. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. And I tell you that is because I could have played the game. I could have made the promises. I could have played the game and been like them. I can't. I tried. People are telling me, my rabbi and everybody, Heshy, play the game. I can't. I really can't.
I say it all the time.
I can't. I tried. You always got upset with me when I tried to play like them.
Because I said you would have been disappointed.
And I do business, and I know how to negotiate, and I play the game. I'm not crazy, but whatever.
No, look, I think that there's always that temptation that if you would have got it, you would have been like everyone else. Yeah. And that's sometimes your
I don't know. Since I'm 10 years old, I'm saying champions keep playing until they get it right. One of my favorite tennis players, Billie Jean King, even though she's a lesbian, but I still loved her. And I love when she was playing. I watched her play as a kid, and she was super, super, super great. Just a regular, ordinary person beating the odds over and over.
Listen, LeBron James has been to the NBA Finals, I believe, 10 times. He didn't win all. He only won 4.
LeBron was a Superman.
But but the point is that
it's the underdog. Billie Jean was an underdog.
Yeah.
Okay, and LeBron came in with a powerful.
He did.
We knew he was Superman.
No, I agree. But I think the point is that not every time
when Ron Guidry came to the majors to the Yankees,
Louisiana
Lightning.
Yep.
They didn't think he had anything, and he was the greatest underdog.
Went 25
My
and 3
favorite pitcher ever, Catfish Hunter. You remember him?
I didn't watch him, but I know who he is. Jim Catfish Hunter.
Wow! He was like Greg Nettles, Mickey Rivers, the greatest base stealer ever. These are Thurman Munson, who died so young. Yes.
I can rest his soul.
Yeah. Anyways, my final quote. Be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else.
Amen.
I don't want to quit. I have the energy to go on. All of you guys, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook fans, all you radio guys. The truth of the matter is, I don't get the support. Just coming over to me in the store or taking a picture, I still have 4 more events I have to go to. My wife Linda says, why are you still going, Heshy? You lost the election. I said, man, I made a promise. I always keep my word. I don't lie. I keep my word. I go. I'm speaking to special needs kids. They want me to teach a class for to be something. I'm not a class, to be a instructor for kids, with special needs, to help them get jobs. Like, they're not special, but they're a little bit slower, and they want me to help them. And I said, I'm going to think about it. I said, I'm not really a teacher anymore, but it's, and I have no time for it.
Yeah, they have a program like that on Staten Island. It's called On Your Mark.
Right. So, it's something like that. And again, I'm overloaded. I already, I spoke to my supervisor where I volunteer in the 2 locations. I said, I'm thinking of quitting and leaving. They're laughing at me. They said, you're doing this so long, Heshy. I said, it's time. I said, people don't appreciate it. He says, what, you think people appreciate doctors, appreciate nurses? After we help them, one screw up and you're dead. One screw up on as your mechanic, and even if you fix it, they get angry. So again, you have to understand that. We're going to go on. Anyways, here's my joke. Ready?
All right.
So I took Linda shopping. And we went to the grocery store, and I was picking out some cereal with Linda, and an older man comes over to us and right away looks at Linda and said, excuse me, miss, this might sound strange, but is your name Etta? And Linda says, no, my name is Linda Tischler, is my husband. And the old man says, I figured it was a long shot. He said, see, I asked you because you remind me of my late wife. And we weren't sure what to say. Me and Linda just stood there. We didn't know what to say,
Right.
And then he says, don't worry. He says, it's not when she was on her way out and ugly. You remind me in the good old days when she was the good version. And we both laughed.
That was, you got there eventually.
Yeah, I got there eventually. Come on, people see their wives terrible, and then they see them in the beginning, and they started out good, you know what I mean? And he came over, and me and Linda said, and I told Linda, you're always my good version.
Well, we're glad for that.
Even though I've had bad versions of Linda.
Well, I'm not going to comment on it, but I got some comments that I do want to comment on. First of all, Daniel Sweet wants to say, Heshy, keep warm.
You know, Danny, I hate you, he's in 90-degree heat in Colombia.
Well, 2 days ago, I was wearing shorts, and now we're in winter. So.
You're always wearing shorts.
Well, it's to the point yesterday, I was like, okay, I tapped out. And Infinite Justice wanted to say, Heshy needs to be a wrecking ball against these frauds in politics. That's his breath, which is what I've been saying to you for 3 years.
But I can't get in there. If I would get in there, and we're going to talk about some of Mandani's policies.
Absolutely.
I just want you to know, people out there, New York City has a budget of $118 billion. Mm-hmm. We have a GDP of $2 trillion, not the state, the city.
Gross domestic product, yeah.
The state has a 15 or 20 or 50 billion dollar budget.
$237 billion.
$37 billion.
Yep.
Plus our state GDP is over $1 trillion. Let's start calculating the number. We have just $500 billion right here alone between New York City and New York State. Mm-hmm. Forget the GDP that comes in more than anybody else.
Yep.
We keep losing money. We need federal money. We can't make a profit. We're raising taxes. And this guy Mandani had a chat with Hochul, and Hochul says, I'm not giving you free buses. And he can't do it because the MTA belongs to the state, not the city.
Yeah,
so you people believed Mandani is giving you free buses and trains. It's not true. He can't. Not without Hochul, and Hochul's running for governor.
And on top of that, he says now that he wants to talk with Trump about federal funding.
And you know what? And now he wants to make social workers answering 911 calls instead of the police. Now, do you understand when a social worker, maybe they can handle some of the cases, but they're not trained to carry a gun. By the way, I hear gun courses and gun permits requests have tripled in New York City. People have, because they're going to have to protect themselves.
Yeah, because we know what's going to happen with the police. They're either going to be restricted, or we know that they're going to look to seek to give their papers in because they don't want to work under Mandani.
And Hochul wants a new lieutenant governor because her guy's running against it.
He's out.
So she's asking Gonzalez, the Brooklyn DA, to leave. So who's going to run in that seat? Another guy like Bragg, who's going to let you see.
I think it might be worse than Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Might be worse than Gonzalez.
Yeah. Gonzalez was pretty good compared to Bragg. Now we're going to get rid of Gonzalez. The Democrats are going to vote in another liberal idiot that lets all the criminals go.
Yeah, and then where are the Republicans in Brooklyn going to be? Do nothing.
Yeah. I know. But so, like I told you, Bubba and this guy Josh Hellman and the state senator said, we're not interested in your help. If you run again, we're going to again amass the masses, and we're going to come out and get you. You're never going to win an election ever. He says, go run upstate or go to another borough. I said, listen to me. I'm going to beat you anyways. I have my lawyers. You're not going to get me. But I feel bad.
That sounds like somebody
people.
Who's desperate, though. That sounds like somebody when you're saying.
I lost too many times. They know that my time is coming.
But I think what it tells you is that it's not so much about focusing on you, but that Sutton is vulnerable next year. Because I think that a lot of people in New York City and locally are not going to be the same way.
Yeah, but the Syrian community that never votes this time came out with over 5,700 conservative votes.
I know, I saw that.
And they never vote. And I've helped their community.
But this wasn't
and I figured I have no problem. You came out to vote for Cuomo. But you went against me for a guy who's done nothing. You know what I mean? Done nothing.
We've talked about this because it's the status quo. And that's what I say.
And your other councilwoman, Ina, did you see what she did today?
What did she do to?
She's a troll. She also does nothing. I know you don't want to say anything about it.
I'm not a big fan of it. You know that. We have a lot of history with her.
She's so not busy that she invited Netanyahu to come to New York City on the day that Mandani is going to be inaugurated, January 1st.
And what power does she have to do that?
Right. So she invited him, so just to piss him off. So now you're going to make trouble with Mandani closing down the streets. You want Benjamin Netanyahu to come in to get arrested. And how is she going to protect Netanyahu, even though he has his own staff?
Well, because she's got a gun herself that she never got in trouble. But that's how she's going to do it.
No, but her gun doesn't work. You forgot her firing trigger pin doesn't work. She's walking around with a gun that doesn't work, idiot.
And also, William Gonzalez is here. He wanted to say
I love William Gonzalez.
One of our favorites.
Nice man.
Yes, a good man. Yeah. Good man.
What do let's talk business.
Talk about it.
Okay. We went through the elections.
Yes, we did.
We hate Hochul.
Obviously.
Bruce Blakely said he's running for governor.
He's considering it. He's
already stomping upstate.
I like Bruce Blakeman a lot, and I'll tell you why I
like Stefanik.
I think Bruce Blakeman would do better here.
Not against Hochul. Maybe Brooklyn's Stefanik would do good.
But Bruce Blakeman is from the Jewish community.
I know that.
And he's going to
get...
He's
a Jew. That's the problem. And you're looking at statewide bone. Stefanik is young. She has Trump. Trump will back her. But Bruce Trump did not help Sliwa.
Wow, that's not even. He should never run again.
Trump didn't really help Cuomo. Trump didn't
help Cuomo. But I'll tell you what, though.
He said vote for Cuomo.
But I'll tell you why I like Blakeman for a few years. I remember years back.
I like Blakeman too. I know him well. He married a young girl that I was very good friends with.
And he was once married to Paul McCartney's ex-wife.
I heard that.
Nancy Chevelle. Yep. Right. He's now married to Paul McCartney. So.
Right.
But I tell you what, the reason I like Blakeman is that he just won in an area that has more Democrats than Republicans. And everywhere in New York City, everywhere in the country, right, dealt with this mini blue wave. But it was Bruce Blakeman, and all the Republicans won in Long Island. All of them won. And he was the guy that led that. Elise Stefanik, I'm not saying she's bad. She's young, she's pretty, she's done a lot of important things. But Bruce Blakeman has won elections, and he will help the Republican vote in Brooklyn and other places in New York City because we have a lot of important races.
Nobody knows Bruce Blakeman.
I don't think anybody knows her in Brooklyn either.
Stefanik is all over the newspapers. Everybody, the whole Republican Party knows her.
But I think Blakeman has shown...
She's raised more money.
He's battle-tested, though. He's won the election. And I got to also give I know you're going to get a laugh, but one of the guys that I'm really hoping runs, and I would support, is Larry Sharp, who's looking to run for governor.
Oh, my God.
Larry Sharp, though, he fights the fight. He's like you. He stands on principle.
I got that. But again, he won't be able to raise the money. He won't have backing. I raised my money. I did the rules. We ran a good campaign.
See, I think
we
when
let the word out. People who went to vote voted against me because their organization said, "Do not vote for Heshy." They actually told them. We see the flyers. We see the phone calls. They can deny whatever they want. So my point is you're telling them not that I'm a bad guy, that I cheated, I stole.
But that's why I think that it's important. I would prefer to see a Bruce Blakeman on the ticket because I think that Bruce Blakeman, all those people that voted against you and for the most part, the Republican ticket in Southern Brooklyn this year, I think next year will come back to the Republican ticket, and I think that's because of Bruce Blakeman. Whereas I see,
but even though, again, they could. You mean they voted not Republican for what reason?
Because they were told by the leaders. Whereas I think now the leaders are going to have a problem.
It's going to be the same leaders,
but the same leaders can't go out and endorse against a Jewish man that's been elected.
Bruce Blakeman, but again, they can still endorse against the local guys. So
I think it's going to be different because I think that this election was one of these once in a lifetime.
So you know that next year also Congress is up. Now we'll see.
Yes.
JFK's grandson.
I was waiting for you to talk about that. I was excited about that.
Now that race excites me more. Because I think I'm in that congressional district.
No, you're in the Dan Goldman district.
Dan Goldman.
Because Nadler got drawn into Manhattan.
Right.
Yep.
Dan Goldman, another winner.
He's your We have Goldman and it's Goldman and Clark represent Borough Park.
Right. See, the problem is if you run as a Republican, you can't beat Goldman, right? Because the Democrats are stupid.
They overpowered you.
Yeah.
But yeah, New York 12, I even heard, speaking of that, there was a rumor going around and they, right away, backtrack it. But Andrew Cuomo was thinking about it for Congress. There was somebody threw it out there. I don't know if it's accurate.
Congress, he could win.
But he would be running in a big jungle primary. Who knows?
Manhattan. And he owned Manhattan.
But he
would eat that up in a minute.
I don't know, but there was talk, and then I even heard after
And he lives in Manhattan. He lives in
the district, and I even heard I would have to think he should not run again. But there was even somebody throwing it out there that Curtis was going to run for governor.
Right, I heard that.
Curtis should not.
No, Curtis is not running against Stefanik.
Well, you never know. Curtis has got people that need to get paid and get on a campaign, and Curtis is, but
that campaign he won't.
I think Bruce Blakeman, though, to me, I'm going to be honest. I think Bruce Blakeman can win as governor. I think Elise Stefanik is going to max out at whatever Trump got in New York.
Problem with Bruce Blakeman, he's running up against a woman. So you have the woman's vote that will go against Bruce Blakeman. You have the black people that will go against.
But you got to remember,
Bruce
Long
Blakeman.
Island has more Republicans than where Stefanik is. And he's got the vote there. Don't forget, that also means he's going to get the Brooklyn vote because he's most known here.
Republicans do vote out besides New York City. Like, what's his name again? Lee Zeldin. He won every place besides New York City.
Yep.
Lee Zeldin got 47% of the vote. So
Which
if
is
the
why I
Republicans
think
come out and the Republicans in New York City actually wake themselves up.
I think Bruce Blakeman's the guy to do it because I think that Bruce Blakeman has already shown that he's about to. One thing I was also upset with, and we'll get to some comments if you want to give us a call, 646-974-1580 on the Justin and Heshy show with Heshy and Tom, was that all the Republican elected officials in Brooklyn rushed to endorse Elise Stefanik. Hello, what's wrong with you? Bruce Blakeman just won in a place where there are more Democrats than Republicans.
Stefanik won a congressional seat.
But you realize that Nassau County is almost twice the size of her congressional district. He
really?
won, yeah. Nassau County's over 1 million plus people, and he won there by double digits.
Wow.
And Obama won there twice, and Biden won it the first time. That tells me Blakeman's the guy. Infinite Justice wants to say Mamdani will try to wreck New York City. If he fails, he'll try to run for governor. What do you think about that? Because now you mentioned Hochul on the Democratic side. Mamdani hasn't endorsed Hochul for re-election.
But he's not going to.
What do you think about that?
There's no way. There's no way he's going to do it. But, your endorsements don't come till the end.
Right. And also, she wanted to say we need Jimmy McMillan for governor because the rent is too high. Too damn high.
I want to add the migrant housing.
Let's talk about it.
So here's the deal.
Okay.
We gave right now up to this point, since the migrants have been coming into this country, over $8 billion.
Money that should have went to our own
and there's more coming out all the time.
Of course.
Now, Mamdani, instead of cutting the police, Mr. Mamdani, just take away the money from the migrant housing hotels that you're overpaying and give it to the homeless, give it to the poor. You know how many people can't pay their rent? How many landlords are in court for 2 years and losing money in their buildings? Take the money that you're giving to the migrants and give it to the people who can't pay their landlords. Give it to the people who have real places to live. You know what I mean? Instead of giving them the money. That's item one.
Absolutely.
But again, he's not going to do that.
No.
He's not going to do that. So basically, the landlords lose, the tenants get evicted. We got to go to court. We lose days of work. Even the people who will get the FEPS program only have to pay 30% of their income. Okay, now they want to raise it to 40% of their income. The whole objective. So we have lots of money to help people pay the rent and the landlords, and still we're making them suffer. I don't understand it.
I don't understand either, but that's
I have no idea how the whole thing works. Yeah. We did talk about Mamdani reaching out to Trump. Do you think Trump would call him back?
Yes.
Really?
I do.
He has to, right?
I think that there's that sort of, doesn't mean they're going to be singing Kumbaya, but I think that there is that time-honored tradition where if Mamdani calls, I think he'll...
If Mamdani doesn't act like an idiot.
I mean, I don't think that Trump is going to be a Mamdani fan. I'm not saying that, and I'm not a Mamdani fan by no stretch, but I'm saying that if he calls him, I think he'll take us, because we know that Hochul and Trump have spoke many times. We know that there's sort of some established relationship. We know about Cuomo and Trump. So to me, I think that, there'll be some conversation.
Okay.
There will be.
Hey, now I have a question for you. The vote in Congress has to have 60-40. I mean, Senate has to have 60-40. And the Senate always has a filibuster. Now, explain to me what a filibuster is. A filibuster is they stall the vote, but how are they able to shut down the government? How are you able to stall a vote for 42 days?
Because I think with the filibuster...
we still have a majority. Majority means majority.
But a majority doesn't mean that you have 60 votes to override the legislation. In other words, if
the legislation is not a majority, you have to have just a majority, not a supermajority.
So the way the Senate works is you have to have 60 votes or more
for every vote
for that legislation to pass. Yeah.
And so no legislation has 60-40 then.
Well, but there's not a legislation that is as controversial as this. That's why the Democrats were able to.
Sometimes legislation passes by one vote.
But in this case, they were able to filibuster because I believe it's a funding issue.
They have to stop that filibuster.
I think the filibuster should stay. The reason I think it should stay is because when the Republicans, there will be a day, the Republicans are in the minority, and what's going to happen then? The Democrats will pass more Supreme Court
But they
seats.
did last time.
But the Democrats are going to increase Supreme Court seats. The Democrats are going to go and pass
How
all
could you increase? That's against the law.
But they would be able to because they would do it through a bare majority. Because if you take the filibuster rule, right,
but
you
again,
eliminate it.
increasing this, the Supreme Court is part of our Constitution. You can't change the numbers.
They
They
could take the law because they're getting rid of the filibuster. Let's say the Republicans get rid
No,
of it.
I understand that. But again, how do you add people to a place that you're not allowed to change the Constitution?
They would do that.
It's like saying I'm taking out the.
Well, they have an amendment to the Constitution. They
You can't. I mean, you know what? An amendment to pass in the Constitution.
They would do that though. They would look to do that. They would look to. I'm not saying that it's. You know,
So these guys do whatever they want. They run the country however they want. They get away with whatever they want.
That's why I was happy that they didn't
and you
do
people
anything.
elect the idiots that do all of this to you, and then you come crying to us.
Well, you got to say, well, how about the fact that the Democrats were more upset about the shutdown ending than the Republicans?
Right.
Because now everybody's saying that
They did not care. That's why 10 Democrats joined from the poorer states, saying our people are screwed.
Well, Fetterman, you and I were talking about this before we went in the air. Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, was saying that basically he was upset the way the Democrats handled this.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Shutting down the government, making people suffer 40, 50, 60
Well, they
years.
did it because it was an election point. They proved their point. They
They did this during COVID too. And that's my point. Don't you see that these guys are terrible? Don't you see that nobody cares?
But people only focus on one thing, Heshy. That's Trump. So so all they have to do is bring up Trump. So that's why that they get away with it. But yeah, to me, it was ironic enough that the Democrats were more upset this time about the government reopening than the Republicans, because it was the Democrats. It was, I believe, seven Democrats voted to reopen the government with the Republicans. I just think that's ironic and such.
Now, I want to ask you something else. I want you to have a good laugh.
Okay.
We have an election passed November 4th.
Yes, we did.
So the new mayor takes over when?
January 1st?
So basically, it's about 45 days now to get the new mayor in.
Yeah, a little more than
Now,
that, about 50.
a 34-year-old, incompetent, no professional, has no idea how to run a budget with no staff, needs to be trained for the new job. Okay?
Yes.
So basically, the old mayor has to transition, just like the president. A transition team has to be done. And you have to do
I
that.
know where this is going.
And
Go ahead.
Donnie's creating a transition team.
Yep.
Your little friend Adams picked himself up and went on vacation.
I was waiting for you to bring it up. Him going to Israel.
I can't, he couldn't wait till after January 1st. I don't understand. You couldn't wait? So here's my point, because he knows that while he's mayor, he gets government taxpayers to pay for his trip, and his trip is not a $2,000-3,000 trip. You know that, right?
No, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, and I think we may be getting a caller right here in the background. Yes,
really?
So if the producer gives
You gave me the worst
signal.
headset. I hate this
We'll
headset.
take this one, and I'll take this one.
No,
But,
it's okay.
I agree with you about Adams. But listen, what's in his interest to help Mamdani? What's it for him?
But he's the mayor. You have to be good, just like the president when he leaves.
Well, he
just
said
doesn't
last
walk
week that
out
he would.
in a huff and puff. Yeah.
He said he would, take care of it. But I mean, look, he's going to go to Israel. He proved his point.
I think he's there already. No?
Yeah, he's there now.
He's there. He's praying at the hotel. Tell him, stop praying. Okay?
And if you are here and we're getting a signal, because I did hear it in the background, but if you do want to give us a call, 646-974-1580 on the Just Enough Heshy Show. We're here with Tom and Heshy. We're also on 1640 AM WJPR, WNEW 1027 FM, and our flagship WSNR 620 AM. And also Infinite Justice wants to say Mamdani is not incompetent. He's maliciously competent. That's a great point, because there's no question to me that he has a plan. His diabolical scheme, like she said, is to wreck New York City. Yeah. He wants people to leave. He wants people to
By the way,
flee.
I hear some other Muslim lady is going to run for Mamdani's seat in Queens, for the assembly seat. I know. We just
God
can't,
help us.
We can't. I don't understand. They don't have majorities. How do they do this? That's why when they do these stupid little redistricting, they set it up that
They're even talking about they want to redistrict the seat. I think I said this last week on the show that Nicole Malliotakis has that goes into Brooklyn. They want to extend it into Manhattan all of a sudden. They want to change They want to change the boundaries, but they twice changed them already. And Hochul actually signed it saying that the districts were good. And now somebody sued.
They can't change districts only after 10 years.
But now they keep wanting to change it. They keep wanting to change it. And I got to blame Trump on this because Trump is the one that opened the whole cake of worms because he wanted to redistrict. And now California, Gavin Newsom beat him. Now they're talking about Virginia adding Democratic seats. They're talking about Maryland. And this grab for Texas is being incompetent. Speaking of Trump, by the way, I have a bone to pick with Trump.
Yeah.
Epstein report.
You guys keep bitching about Epstein is dead. It's over. Stop it. So
but why does Trump now? But why does Trump consistently not want this to come out?
So I'll tell you why. Because first of all, I don't believe Trump hung out with young girls and screwed around with Epstein.
But then why is he so focused on calling Lauren Boebert today?
I'll tell you why. Here's the deal. You guys made a big deal. Trump lost an $84 million case against a lady. He didn't rape. He didn't molest. He sexually, supposedly harassed for like 4 minutes, okay? and he has an $84 million lawsuit against him. You're gonna, people what's it called again? You misappropriate, you mislead the public, and because we're not too bright. We're not too bright. You tell us some story and we believe it.
But
Epstein was a pig. Epstein did bad things. Epstein was a multi-millionaire or worth almost $1 billion.
Yes.
So what happened was, of course he was going to meet all the rich people. Of course he was going to go to the big parties. A lot of people didn't want to hang out with him.
But Trump seems to be really not wanting this to come out there. If he knows...
has a couple of emails. That's all he has, a few emails.
But I think the people should see it. And I think it was...
Epstein told Russia about Trump. It was Epstein that cooperated.
But when Steve Bannon says... months back.
Yeah, I used to like Steve Bannon. Now he's acting crazy.
But a couple of months ago, and I agree with him, this could come back to haunt Republicans. I say get it out in the open. If you really are about the people, let's see. If it's like you say, fine. But if not, to me... as a not as a citizen or voter, but as a regular. And the JDL's here, by the way. I want to give them a big shout out. They say the two greatest men in New York City. Well, you, not me, but obviously that. And James Green wanted to say the men in the 1997 conspiracy theory wind up singing, "I love you, baby." That's not what happening in real life. Thank you, James, for I guess whatever comment. But yeah, you were saying. Go ahead.
I don't know. I tell you one thing, as a curiosity, as a gossiper, because you and I gossip on the side.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to know what went on in Epstein. Yes,
and I think that's why Trump.
But that's what you want to do. You're trying to use it as... We got a call here on
the show. Oh, maybe not, but if you are trying to call, you're trying to call Heshy, call us on the regular line, 646-974-1580. And the JDL agrees with me. They should put it out there. I think this could come back and haunt Republicans. And I think Bannon was right on that. And somebody wants to say Heshy for State Assembly, Tiger 1796 with that Charlie Sheen tiger-like blood. Heshy for State Assembly. You know what? Who
Senate is coming up.
Well, listen,
you're talking to me about running against Kalman Yeager.
Well, we were talking about that seat. I don't
want Kalman Yeager's seat. He's, it's not a bad. I want to put somebody up.
He's with it. He's beatable. I think Yeager is very beatable right now. Nobody knows him.
But I would like Sutton out. Another winner.
I think Sutton. We got to get him out, and I think he's vulnerable. And that's why he's trying to threaten.
But if the Republicans don't back me, I'm going to be meeting. I met with the state. Now I'm going to meet with the local Brooklyn Republicans.
Well, don't hold your breath.
I know. But
by the way, William Gonzalez wants to say, Mamdani needs to represent the taxpayers who built this city instead of placing the birdie on them.
What are you guys talking about? Let me just tell you a story, okay?
The chat's getting fired up right now.
There's a Y, a Brooklyn Y right here in Borough Park.
Yes, yeah.
Again, I keep
14th
repeating
Avenue,
it to you.
49th Street.
My father gave money. I was a member there.
I
was not even notified when they were selling the building or making the thing. They said, we had a meeting. What meeting? What did you have? 40 people out of a few thousand people, a few hundred members show up to a meeting, and you trick them. The point is that you're selling a building that's not even belonging to the state or the city, that we made into a free public building.
Yep.
And we do get government funding because we're entitled. We give them the senior center. We give them lunch programs. We let the city use it as an election center. We built this Y for the community residents.
Yes.
Never to be touched. And somehow these board members got in there over the years and gave the Y, didn't sell it, gave the Y to an organization called Bubba, where there's a lot of fraudulent that went on there. And Letitia James was being investigated. I hear they're opening this case up. Now you transfer the building to somebody else for free. Yes, they have to build you back a building. They were supposed to do it in 5 years. Now it's 10 years. Now they're going to build apartments above the Y that people are going to live there. That means if they don't pay the maintenance, we're going to need a whole management team. It's going to be a whole profitable business. And then the Y is going to have to pay fees to this new management team.
And the trick, though, is that the Y, at the end of the day, I like how you're thinking, because the Y eventually is going to become a place that is apartments altogether.
Yeah,
and that's a danger. And that's right now. That's why I didn't support.
Have that. You can't have apartments built on it, even though you want to raise the money for it.
But that's
you
what the
trade
city. If
building
you look
for building.
Go look in Manhattan right now. I was in Manhattan.
Letitia James was given money. I know it. I've seen the transfer.
Letitia James is a bad
donations that she was given, and then she approved this Y.
Of course she did.
My point is these
did.
guys think they can get. Now, I don't want to cause trouble, even though I do have the paperwork for a lawsuit to stop them. I don't want to go against this synagogue, but they're not using the synagogue they have now fairly. They don't let everybody in. They don't have an open mind.
Well, if you know something about it, you should let us know.
I have the folders. I've been telling everybody about it. I have the paperwork that we researched that there's a lot of funny monkey business. Then if
I think. Listen, I think if there's some.
I don't think they're entitled to my why.
But
I'm not having a problem with a synagogue opening up, but to take a building for free, you got the big one. I mean, you can't have it. I don't want to give it to you. You know, it's like my building here. I don't want to sell it to you. I have people coming to me. I don't want to sell it.
Well, you know, I think
a bunch of synagogues, they came to me. I told them, I don't want to sell it to the synagogue. There's a synagogue next door. I don't want another synagogue here. That. Now, I said, oh, Heshy, what's your business? I said, because I don't want the other synagogue to get hurt. I can do whatever I want, but my why you're going to sell and move me to a building that has buildings? If it was an independent building.
This is, to me, I think when you said that they were looking to put apartments over, to me,
they're not looking. They've designed apartments to go over the Y to sell, so they can fund the Y, and then the Y has to pay maintenance. And
but the real thing is down the road is eventually to convert the Y into apartments, and why
forget about 20, 30 years. We'll forget.
And that's why I didn't support City of Yes, because that if you look in Manhattan right now, they're looking to convert everything into.
I have no problem with the City of Yes.
So
where are people going to live? You're taking the migrants, you're putting them into hotels. The homeless you have no place for, and me and my kids have nowhere to go. You know,
these grabs are for the realtors.
Rent, one of my tenants complained to me. He says, Heshy, I have to move.
Yeah.
But I can't move because the way you charge me rent is half of anybody else.
Yeah.
I said, well, I make a nice living and I'm not a greedy person.
Right.
And I raise it, every 3 or 5 years, but not even incrementally. I do it based on what I feel is comfortable, and I make a little bit of a profit. I don't need to be a billionaire. I cover my costs. Me and Linda pocket some money, and we're very happy.
Okay.
He says, hey, if I have to move, I have to pay double the rent, and I'm squeezing with my small little family. I said, well, you have to go. What do you want me to do? He says, can you give me some money to move? I said,
wait, how is it your job to give him?
It's always right. So my point is, it's not the point is I feel bad for him. And you're right. When he moves out, I can increase the rent to double or
tenfold,
whatever.
Yeah.
Not tenfold. I would increase it But my point is that I'm trying to tell you is that you could make the City of Yes with so much more affordable housing, and you have to.
But they're never going to do that. It's going to be for the realtors, and on top of that, it's just land grabs.
Yeah.
And that's also, by the way, I did want to say from James Green, in real life, we are nonplussed because love has so little scope. Speaking of Democrats, you brought up Letitia James.
By the way, I want to ask you one more question.
Ask me 100 questions.
Do you believe Trump, if Donnie wins, is going to send the National Guard? He says.
I'm going to say.
He said that he didn't say, but they're guessing. Trump said, Donnie win. Trump said it could trigger a National Guard.
So here's my thought on that. I right, Chicago. We've seen that. We've seen the fight in California. I'm going to say this as somebody that's in Manhattan, working in Manhattan a few times a week. I hope he does. I really, because I could see what's happening.
Right now, it's not bad, but I'm telling you about 6 months into Mandani, the crime,
absolutely,
the rapes. I mean, you're going to see it's going to be so wild.
Wait until you won't see.
We are predicting the apocalypse.
When the weather gets warmer, which you talk about, like it's about 6 months now, May, June. That's when you're going to really notice. Right now, like you said, it's docile.
No, you see, it's docile, but right now there's new crimes. Amazon and all these companies, when they deliver their package, they don't anymore knock on your door and make you sign.
I see that because I'm out early in the morning.
They leave it by me too. They leave it on your front
I gotta
porch.
be honest. I gotta say, I was freaked.
And they walk away, and it's a whole new thing. They're robbing.
I gotta be honest. I was freaked out a couple weeks ago. I was out. You know me. I'm out 5 a.m. and I have my garage open and I'm making my newspapers and I look around and somebody taps me on the shoulder and I am carrying. For some people that know, I do carry on me, and I clutch my hand and I look. And it was actually an Amazon person. No, it's like, I got you. I'm just trying to give you your package. And I was like, okay. I put down, what I had in my pocket, but that's what it was.
And people are just going.
And I got to give Tiger 1796 a big shout out because they want to say also, rest in peace, George Sarantolopoulos, right? Sarantolopoulos, because he lost his race by 18 points. So that's what you get though for trying to work with the people that you knew, like I told you, to be the same people. That's what he would have did. Listen, he would have got elected and he would have been like everybody else. He wasn't voting for you for minority leader. He was going to stand there with all the people. He was standing with Lester Chang, a guy that you had a lot of problems with.
A guy that he worked for and was fired or screwed him. Now, I like George.
Me too. I like George. Full disclosure, I like George. He was good on the show.
I'd rather have him win than the other idiot.
Yeah, obviously. And we worked for George. We helped George get elected in the primary. I like George. He's a good guy. He served the community. But he was
still does. You should, him and Heidi.
Yeah, they're great.
His wife. No. Christmas time, they buy toys for the poor.
They're great people.
Not
I'm not
toys.
knocking.
Nice stuff. I
people.
stole a couple of their toys.
They're nice people, but he was gonna go. He was playing the game. Come on.
And she has a beautiful and she's a mother of a kid.
Yes.
A teenager. Too bad.
Well, George, listen. George has went through a lot, but I'm just saying that George went there and he was going along. And he was playing the game with all the people. He was standing there with the conservative party, who were not for you, who were with the Democrat, standing there with the Brooklyn GOP, what they did. Come on. And you think that he was going to be with us? Listen, he would have got elected. He wouldn't have even invited you to his swearing in. He would have got elected.
Stop.
I'm serious. I've seen this. Sam Pirizzolo did this in Staten Island. I got him elected in the primary, got him on the ballot.
Yeah.
The guy never recognized me. Vicky Palladino came on your show. Yeah. Vicky Palladino was out there.
Well, Vicky Palladino is a Democrat.
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
she's not
exactly.
A Republican. She ran as a Republican. She cried as a Republican. I went to her when she first announced. We supported her when she had no chance. She won. She's now just one of them.
Because she's going because she needs them for funding. Listen, it's all a game. That's why, you know what?
What is she going to do after term limits?
I ain't got nothing to do with that. Yeah. I'm not concerned about that. But William Gonzalez wants to point out, thank you, William, the shutdown has officially ended. Infinite Justice is loving what I'm saying because that's not my words, but I'm going to go and read it off. George is Rhino personified.
Oh,
and Tiger 1796 says, what did Lester Chang and Steve Chan do?
I can't stop this. Please,
no, I don't.
End the show now.
No. We're going to keep going. Also, I don't know Steve Chan. I can't speak on him.
I don't like Steve Chan.
I don't know him. I don't know him.
He's a two-faced backstab. I see him all the time.
Well, he's another Weston. He was a Democrat turned Republican.
We're all Democrats turned Republican.
But there's a difference between you and every.
They still believe in the Democratic idea.
That's the difference between you and a lot of people. You always were consistent. You never changed. Lester Chang is from Manhattan. I got to be honest. He won a fluke election. He won a fluke, and that's the bottom line. And this is Black Beauties. They're pouncing on George. George even looks like a Ron. Not my words.
Stop.
George, that's not my words.
Making fun of somebody fat.
That's why I'm not saying that. I'm not endorsing that. I just feel that George, after he won the primary, he stood with the people that weren't our friends. That's what I have a problem.
To me, find a
consistency. No. I got another topic for you. Hakeem Jeffries is getting primaried.
Really?
He's getting primaried by a guy that was helping out George Sarantopoulos' opponent. This guy Chi Osi. He's in their district. I tell you what, Jeffries could be gone because this guy is a big-time progressive.
When is Jeffries up for election?
Primaries in June, just like New York 12. I think Jeffries is going down.
When do you have to collect signatures for that?
February 24th, with 3 months. That's why they're talking to you about Sutton's seat, because he's on the ballot in 3 months. That's it.
I keep losing the local election because you keep getting the local people. I think if I spread my message to the bigger crowd, the problem is it's too much money to raise.
I think the problem you faced, and I'll be honest, is that
bigotry. I believe bigotry against my own people.
I think what you faced is that a handful of people have decided to dictate to the masses.
I get a handful of people, and my masses are stupid, and when they get screwed, they have nowhere to go. And again, they come back to me. My partner says, Heshy, every guy from Bubba, every guy from the Syrian, every guy, you're not going to take on clients? I said, we have enough clients. And the truth of the matter is, no, I don't want to work for hateful people from hateful organizations. If their organization is so hateful, let them help you. Why are you coming to me? But I know I sound petty.
No, it's not. You're speaking
petty,
the truth.
ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what I am. I am that you made my job harder. You made, there's 312 government agencies that I don't think Mandani has any idea. He's not going to change commissioners. He's going to
And
let
this
them
is the
ride
man
wild.
that's going to have the keys to the city. The second most powerful position in this country. This man is going to have the keys for it.
The DOB is one agency.
Yeah.
Now the DOB, within the DOB, has 50 different units. And each unit works with each other. They're saying, well, what that unit did, I don't care what I did. So they make you work double and triple. Today I met a new unit, 2 young guys who don't even have their uniforms, who have no idea of construction. One is 29 years old, the other one is 30 years old, no idea. They made them inspectors, and we are now a new division that is reviewing all the other jobs that even if you pass inspections, we're going to review again.
And Bob Trackman wanted to say, is the Republican Party going to support or screw Elise Stefanik? I think the Republican Party...
No, if with Trump behind it, the Republican Party will support Elise Stefanik.
I think
Not
they will.
Bruce Blakeman.
I'm for Bruce Blakeman. I just think
I know you are, but if Trump supports Stefanik, it's Stefanik all the way.
I think that...
And Trump will support Stefanik.
I think in a primary, Bruce Blakeman's shown that he's the one that's more battle tested. He controls more votes. I think the Republican Party is making a big...
She's going to raise more money than him.
He's a rich guy. He's with a lot of money. I know Bruce Blakeman from years ago because he ran for U.S. Senate. And I never forget Bruce Blakeman because I remember when Craig Eaton was the chairman, when the Brooklyn Republican Party had a headquarters not too far from here. He spoke with everybody. He was down to earth. And he had that likability. It was the wrong race for him at the wrong time. But I think he will do better in a primary. I got more comments. AI will be only our friend in our goals and desires. We can't find good purpose in getting together. Go get him, Heshy, from our friends at the JDL. And Tiger17, you can get the Conservative Party through petitioning. I think at this point...
The problem is you're right, but if you're a Republican, tell them the rule. I can't go on the conservative line by petitioning, can I?
No, they have to give it.
They have to give.
And they back Democrats, but I think in New York State we'd be better off without the Conservative Party.
Yeah,
I don't think they help.
They have no. Even though whatever.
And Black Beauty says that a point what Trackman made. I never see the state GOP help any cat, which is why
There's an old guy, GOP guy. What's his name again?
Cox.
Does nothing.
And the guy was elected years ago. They took him out of power, brought him back in. No, this is an excellent point because I don't care. I know you're in the party now. You're a vice chair or something like that. But the Brooklyn GOP, the New York State GOP, none of these GOPs have any money. They have very little clubhouses. They don't have people on the ground. Yeah. I say this all the time. People,
I'm going to help the Brooklyn GOP. If I was elected, I was going to help
them. Cox is sleepy.
Very sleepy.
He would never come on the show, by the way. He's in bed by now. Yeah. Listen, this guy, he does exactly. He does.
Did he get out of bed yet today?
Is he alive? Has he got dentures?
Yeah, well, the wheelchair does.
But that's a problem. I think that the Democrats always do a better job with. They always have people on the ground. They always target these districts. They go out there and get their people elected, whereas the Republicans, they don't do those things.
Before we end the show, and I have a few minutes.
We got plenty of time.
I want to tell you a story. My mother, God bless her.
Yes.
Always helped people. That's why I learned how to help the sick.
Yes, you did.
And the people in the hospital. When my uncle got very sick, we went to the hospital. He was going to die. They told my mother he's going to die. I remember a snowy day, and she slid her car, bumped into somebody, whatever. We took care of it. And my mother said to the doctor, "Oh, no, I'm not going to let him die." And she took him from the chair herself. There was, he was a man, a heavier man, and then I came running to help her, and he slid on the floor. And he said to my mother, "It's time." And I said, my mother said, "No, it's not." And I remember my mother looks at me. I said, "What does that mean?" And she says, "Because I really didn't deal with death as well, even though I've been helping out a lot, sick and whatever."
Well, I hate to say it, before I came here,
my mother fed him when they told him not to feed him. My mother massaged him and took care of him, and for another 2 years he lived. He went back to the wheelchair. He smiled every week. I went to visit him every weekend. And my mother showed me what it is to fight and take care of people and not to give up. When my mother was passing away, I didn't want to take her to the hospital. And we fought to keep her in the house. We took care of her day and night when she got sick. She never wanted to go to the hospital. And I knew what it is when she told me over and over again, it's time. I said, no, mommy, we're going to have the family around you. When you came to my house, you, Tom,
yes.
Jew, not Jew, girl,
yeah.
boy, black, people who didn't know my mother, you have to stop off before you come up to the third floor and say hello to my mother. You had to go visit with her. She had to give you approval to come in. We had to show love. And my mother had family. So when people are struggling and suffering, I'm trying to teach you something. That's why we go visit people and sick. You have to know. And now I was ready. When my mother passed away, I was ready. And I went away for just a couple of hours. And then she got sick and my brother took her to the hospital. I said, Shia, I'm working with my mother for 9 years, 8 years. Why would you take her? The one day you take her, she dies.
Yeah.
You people don't understand. The hospital, yes, is a safer place for people to die, but they are going to die.
Yeah, the hospital.
I'd rather have her die in the warmth. I want to die in my bed with the family around
I agree.
me.
Listen, I saw my dad die in a nursing home. You know, it was like, and he was a young man, 62.
Oh.
You know, and I saw a dead cat on my way, which really broke me up.
Cat.
A dead cat.
You know, Curtis's wife is into cats.
I know that, but I'm not into Curtis's wife. I mean, I'm into, some other women.
Oh,
but
God.
I do want to thank everybody that's here on the radio. First of all,
By the way, I'm
WJPR.
coming down to Florida. It's all you, my fans over there in WPY.
WJPR 1640 AM.
We'll tell you when
Thank
I'm
you
coming.
for that. And WNEW 1027 FM, WSNR flagship 620 AM, and on the Talkline Radio Network. Thank you so much, everybody.
I know
for
a lot of
doing
you
this.
guys don't like the last 5 minutes that the commercials come on
There
for
are
you.
people that want us to go past the hour.
I know that, but we're going to try to stop that after our new contract that in the last 5 minutes don't have commercials anymore.
Well, he does the commercials, but I know people want. By the way, I have a good comment from Black Beauty. She says she wants you to start a new Republican club.
So I do have a Republican club.
The Tea Party, right?
The Tea Party.
She does-
And
she
I'm
has-
vice president of that club, and we're a pretty good club. And my vice and my president is a nice guy, Glenn. But again, we only have 20 or 30 members in there. Maybe sometimes some more guests come. We can have a 40-man team. I joined the club as a Democrat. They let me
I
join
remember
it.
that. I remember the
And I was always part of it. And I really enjoyed it. And they use my headquarters as their
202
office.
Foster Avenue for the audience.
Anytime they want, they get to use it. I don't question. They come. We have a headquarters
And William
for
Gonzalez
my
wants to
club.
tell you have a good night, by the way. William Gonzalez.
William, good night, my boy.
Good man. By the way, he was telling me some stories in his neighbor because he's on East 4th Street in Avenue P, and he was telling us some stories about where he is and some of the things that go on in his community. So I want to thank William.
Yeah. Well, guys,
We got the time. We don't have to go off just yet.
I'm not going off,
with the radio we're off, but,
I want to tell my listeners.
Tell them.
I'm not. Again, people called me and saw me on the street, and don't be depressed. I have people saying, "Don't quit, Heshy." I keep telling my clients, I don't want to take on new business. You're my last one. I have so many people. I even took on new ones. I'm just not exhausted. Don't get me wrong. I'm good. I go, I'm not tired, I run, I get up, I exercise, not really, but I go walking up and down flights of stairs every day.
I got to read off Tiger
By the way,
17.
Linda's going to the gym, so she's going to look hot soon.
I love Tiger
Everybody
17.
don't look at Linda.
And by the way, I love Tiger 1796, by the way, saying that they're in Vicky Palladino's district and they're unlucky. But that's a point. You know what, though?
Usually you're lucky because if you were in Simcha Felder's district, you'd be really
But
unlucky.
I understand his point in that we get disappointed by people that said they were going to do this, and that, whether it is Vicky Palladino, whether it is Sam Pirozzolo, whether it is Lester Chang.
I have a place that's in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
A religious organization. And he says, "Hey, I got somebody in the high mayor's office to help us." I said, okay. I meet him, the guy, and he says, well, I can't do this. I could do this. I can't do this. I said, listen to me. Stop. I don't need your help. I've done all the work. I'm not going to let you mess it up. If you would have taken over in the beginning, before I got in, before I spent all this time and money on this organization, one comment from you could maybe help or hurt. You should have done this in the beginning. Now you come along and see you're going to take credit of my stuff. I'm willing to suffer an extra week or 2 or 3 or a month, not to slow down the process and go through the red tape that I follow the rules instead of asking for a favor. The favor should have been done day one. Like when somebody's arrested, I call Richie Taylor, and Richie Taylor tells me, drop dead, I'm not going to help you because I'm a chief and I'm a zero idiot dumbbell. So
Speaking of people that have done nothing.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick, I know we're going to go on the air, off the air, but California was fighting. It looks like Newsom's fighting with Trump again. This time on the driver's license, he wants to revoke it.
But I don't know what to tell you. All I know is I'm getting my real license.
The real ID. You talked about that on last week's show.
Did you apply for the real license?
I have not because I haven't traveled. I don't go
But
anywhere.
you have it anyways, just in
I
case
hope I
you
don't have to come to
travel.
Borough Park with the real ID.
You have to. Oh, wow. Well,
By the way, Tiger 1796 is on fire. And Vicky...
By the way, I went to Simcha Felder's organization.
On 16th Street,
with the
15th,
IDs.
what happened with that?
They were doing IDs. Do you know how many illegal aliens were getting New York State IDs?
So you mean to tell me no one actually from his district showed up?
No, people from the district, but like illegal aliens. Well, now they're going to be legal. They have IDs.
But that tells you this man is doing nothing, and that's what they want to do. But you
And
know what?
So you elected.
But I want to say
he lives
this.
in Jersey. Maybe you could have got a Jersey ID.
But you know what? I tell you what. In a couple of months from now, we're back on the battlefield, and I think that this is an
Are we
important.
back on the battlefield? You want me on the
No, I'm
battlefield?
not saying you necessarily, but what I'm saying is that we have people like Sutton and Yeager that are on the ballot. And if you were going to be upset with Memdani and you feel like this is your last stand, you want to elect Republican for governor.
I want to see
we've got to knock that
I want
out.
to see one thing Felder and Dan. Besides going on X and screaming, I want to see them file.
You
a
know
lawsuit.
Felder ain't on X himself. That's somebody, a burner. Listen,
No,
Felder's in bed. He's not.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
know how we.
No, he's in bed in Jersey.
What a 201 area code.
Right.
But I mean, the point is that listen,
Isn't it 848 now?
it's 201. It's 201.
And 848.
I know 201.
Who cares?
But the point is that listen, regardless of whatever Heshy does, there are people here that need to be defeated, and if you want to
But
make
we're not. You're not coming out. You're not helping me. I mean, I had 7 volunteers, 3 of them from the Holy JDL.
They're here with us in the
but
chat.
But the point is, the rest of them I paid, and I had to beg them to come in. And I had also Stephen
yes,
Burke.
Stephen Burke,
Wow.
that man. Let me tell you something.
good man.
Stephen Burke doing Hashem's
I
work.
have to buy him. I have to take him out to dinner.
You know what? But but the point is that regardless of whether your electoral plans are in the cards, there are seats next year that, listen, Sutton and Yeager should not be sitting in those
put
seats.
competitors up against them, but when they have their block of stupid leaders like Josh Melman, that lobbyist.
But I would point out that those districts are not unanimously controlled by those leaders like where you can run. And I think that's a big difference.
Right.
Also,
Okay.
By the way, 201 is a ritzy area code from Black Beauty. Tiger 1796 is going all in on Vicky Palladino, and she's a Democrat. And James Green says, why do we like movies?
Thank you, everybody, for listening to
See you
our
next
show.
week.
See you next week. Play that music. He's not going to play the music,
Well,
but play that music.
I think he left the show.
Yeah, he left the show already. He's not even producing.
Well, who knows? But give us a call next week, and we'll talk more about this. Thanks, everybody.
Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight. Woo! Laughs and wisdom side by side. Heshy show won't be denied. Tune in live and ride the tide. Feel the rush and feel the pride.